very good morning. I'm David Huston, and I'm the LLM program lead for Simmons Wavelength. And I'm joined today by Drew Winlaw, who's our global LLM lead and partner here at Simmons. So very good morning, Drew.
Great to be here. Thanks, David.
So I'm really interested to get this time, Drew, and there have been a lot of developments over the last couple of weeks, haven't there? We've had some excellent press from Microsoft. We've had updates not only in operationalizing Percy, but also bringing it as a platform out on a stage, as it were. So maybe a good place to start would be, tell us a bit about that. What's happened from your perspective?
So there's been a lot of fantastic technical work done on the Percy platform. And just in the last few weeks, that's been really recognized and acknowledged from within Microsoft, and with the Microsoft AI tour happening in London, that was a really interesting opportunity for us to talk about what we've done with Percy and the Azure platform, to rethink some of the way that tasks are done with the benefit of Gen AI. So in terms of things directly with Microsoft, I did a media session at the AI tour, and then a session in a breakout room, which in the Excel Center is actually a room of 350 people. And that was recorded, and I think there'll be some shorts of that coming out at some point as well.
Well, I know the LLM team was out in full force, and I can confirm it was a really big audience. So to be fair, well done to you. It would be great to hear a little about that session. So what was the session about, and how do you think the reception was from the audience?
So the session, the breakout session in the small 350 person room, it was really around the use of the Azure platform to build the Percy 2 platform, which has a lot of great functionality that's been designed specifically for the legal community, and it's been built really with a lot of input from lawyers all around the Simmons global network. So we've spent a lot of time understanding what the needs are, getting help from the users to prioritize what is the functionality that they really need, and then sort of abstracting those needs and then building something that delivers on those.
I mean, suffice to say, it's a huge thank you to the AI Champion Network and everybody we've worked with in the business, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, no, they're absolutely crucial. And we're just looking at the way to refresh that network, because we're coming up for 12 months for having that network in operation. And it was really a very significant investment from the firm. Each of the legal AI champions had an allowance of 300 hours to put into this effort, which is a very, very significant investment from the firm. And we're seeing it pay off now.
So Drew, thinking about adoption, we've had some wonderful successes in this past year, and it's been absolutely thrilling being a part of it. Can you just talk us through that journey of adoption and where you feel we are in relation to generative AI?
Sure. So one of my favorite stories this week is about a training session that ran last week, and the trainer reported that there were shrieks of excitement when the new functionality was being shown about how Percy could assist with a particular task. And that kind of energy is reflected in the take-up, which is growing week by week. At the moment, we have most people are coming to Percy on a weekly basis, but a really significant subset of that are coming daily to do tasks of all different sorts. It could be minor prompts, just with a prompt, could be prompts that refer to one or more documents in fairly complex ways, referring to our prompt library, which is the repository for the knowledge of our prompting and the sort of the core knowledge resource that's supporting the development of AI literacy in the firm. So adoption, it's on the increase, and I expect that to continue for quite some time yet.
And presumably that's going to be a big drive for us in the coming year. There's never enough. We want to continue to build on our adoption successes?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to recognize that the adoption we're looking for is for a reason. So it's not really my goal that every fee earner is in a particular tool every day or every hour, because they should only be going to that tool if they really need to, if that provides them business benefit. And for different roles, it's going to be different. So I think it is quite hard to set targets in this particular zone, but the longer term target for me is having enough people, a critical mass of people that really understand this technology, so that they're ready for the next phase of legal services with a higher technology component.
I think that's a really good point. I mean, for those of us who are around in the .com times and the internet, you wouldn't have targeted somebody on the amount of time they spend on the internet.
No, exactly. Exactly.
I also wanted to cover the wonderful press we've had today from Microsoft, and specifically from the CEO of Microsoft UK. How does that make you feel? And what do you think that means for our firm and for the journey that we're on?
So a big shout out to Darren Hardman. Thank you very much for your LinkedIn post this morning, acknowledging the work that we've done together, and the Simmons use of the Azure AI platform to put it all together. It's been a great team effort. And it's not over. You know, it's got us to this point and this version. We still have plenty more to do. But I think there's a lovely close relationship between Microsoft and Simmons that I only want to build on in the coming year.
Excellent. So thinking about the AI tour and what we learned, how's this relationship developed? So how have Microsoft and Simmons come to work together, and what do you see that relationship being like in the future?
Really, the relationship has blossomed in the last year because we've had a need to work out how to scale the platform across 2,600 people in 22 countries. There were elements of that were beyond the expertise of our internal team. And so through our technical account managers and our account managers at Microsoft, we've been given access to the experts in this area, and also some people from Microsoft Research, which has been fascinating to hear from them where they think this technology is heading, and work out which components of that we could build into Percy as well.
I know Nipin, Aoife, and Ire have been really supportive from the Microsoft side, haven't they?
They've been absolutely crucial, and it feels like they want us to succeed. So it's a really productive relationship, very friendly, and we're achieving a lot together, that's for sure.
And is it worth articulating for people who are maybe not as familiar with the solution and how we've built it, the differences from a third-party cloud platform? So for example, I guess if we could talk a little bit about it, it's built on our architecture, and it's something that we're actually able to build on and use internally. How does that look from your perspective?
So from my perspective, the reason it's interesting for me is because I'm trying to preserve for Simmons the strategic flexibility to be able to construct forward-looking legal services that have more of a technology component than happens today. And for that, I think we need like the highest degree possible of control over the technology that we're operating with. And that's not to say that third parties will be completely excluded from this process, but the rump of our learning and the rump of what we need to get in place to be in a position to be able to offer those services to the market, the learning process that we're going through at the moment is absolutely essential for us to be able to do that. Having
our lawyers on board and constantly changing and evolving their working practices is going to be critical to that, isn't it?
Exactly. And maybe I could flip the table and ask you about what you think the differences are and the specific features that are important within Percy.
Well, I think that's a really interesting question. From my perspective, there's probably two critical benefits to the platform that we've created and what we're trying to build out here at Simmons. Mm-hmm. From one perspective, there's the legal inference engine. There's the ability of Percy to act on legal documents in ways that are perhaps unique. Mm-hmm. And when I think about it, I think of the AI champions use cases that we've worked on and built. we've made sure that the platform is able to deliver for specific legal use cases. And I think that's quite unique. So there's a whole engine that sits underneath that. And we've collaborated with Microsoft to build it. The second benefit from my perspective is security. And I think you've already touched on this, Drew. And it's the idea that the platform itself actually sits in our architecture under our tenant, which means that a lot of the data and controls within the system happen on our IT estate. And that gives us a certain level of security and confidence that the data is treated in the right way. I don't know if you as a partner, for example, have noticed in conversations with clients, it's a little easier, isn't it, to reassure them that we're following the EU AI Act and that we're governing our data in a reasonable and appropriate way.
It's certainly an area of interest for many clients, and we have a large number of clients in the financial services arena in particular, and those clients in particular have very, very stringent expectations in this regard. And we're pleased that because we are building the platform together with Microsoft, we know every little detail and can answer all the questions that our clients have with complete authority.
And just building on the point you've introduced about that business focus, I mean, you've certainly led the charge as a partner leading this team. Is there anything more you reflect on about how building out Percy has allowed us to really focus on the priorities of the business and what our clients and customers are actually trying to deliver themselves?
Yeah, so I think the exciting thing about the changes that are happening is that this technology is enabling all sorts of new things to happen, but the technology is going faster than the people. So we need to be spending more time in the coming year on adoption, encouraging day-to-day usage of these tools where it provides sufficient utility, and getting lawyers in a position where they're thinking about the next business models. And really that's where I want to be pointing people in the coming year, for sure.
That's super exciting. And then casting our eyes well into the future, are there some trends you're seeing? Where do you see this all going? Are there some research and development activities that are important to you?
So for me, the rise of agents is very, very exciting. I can see in my mind's eye a world where managers are managing people in their team and they're also managing digital workers. That's certainly foreseeable, and I can imagine that digital worker reporting to a manager, at the end of each week, saying, explaining which tasks have been done by the agent during the week, what decisions were made, and checking whether all of those decisions should be committed to that agent's memory for use in future, or whether that particular scenario was an outlier and should be excluded from its memory going forward. So I think the development and the curation and the thinking and the change that's going to have to happen to bring all this about is really quite significant, and we need to take it step by step. But I think we're doing things in the right order.
I would certainly echo that. And I know one client we spoke with actually mentioned the idea of an agent having a birthday.
Yes.
And being able to actually treat them with these kind of anthropomorphic type features, which is funny, isn't it? And quite unique, but that's the world we're growing into.
It certainly is. It certainly is. Yes, I think. I think some of these workers will have names. Some of them will have personas, and possibly avatars and things, but they don't need to right now, in my view.
Well, Drew, listen, I've really enjoyed our chat. Thank you so much for the time and effort you've put in, and look forward to all the future stuff that we have to build out.
Thanks so much, David.
Thank you.